Hello and welcome to your Club Everton Daily. The date is Sunday, the 29th of January 2012. And our first trial of the dailies being on iTunes is pretty successful. So thanks to everyone who's been listening to us and downloading the dailies or just watching them on YouTube. Any little helps. Before we get down to the nitty gritty of today's daily, we just want to point out an article that I put up on the site yesterday. Sorry, excuse me. And it obviously concerns our friends at the Falletonians podcast. I did promise to do this week, and seeing as today's my last chance to do it, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to plug the Falletonians Live event that's coming up this week. Basically, for those who don't know, and I doubt there's anyone because most people who listen to this probably listen to Falletonians as well, but the Falletonians co-host Eric Howell, who lives in Lawrence, Kansas, in the United States, is coming over to Liverpool this week. He's going to be here for the Man City game, and he's going to be going to the Wigan away match as well. However, on top of that, on Thursday, I believe, the 2nd of Feb, he and Ped are going to be recording live an episode of the podcast. They've got a venue sorted. They're going to be at the Walkabout on Concert Square. Starting around 8 o'clock, and although they've not confirmed this yet, or they have said it, but they said it's more of a hope than a guarantee, they want to broadcast it live on Ustream for those who can't be there. Sadly, I'm amongst those who can't be there. Obviously, I live in Leeds now, and it's a bit too far of a trek. But definitely wish Eric and Ped the best of luck with the live show. Another thing as well, that quickly about the Falletonians is I'd like to urge anyone listening to this to nominate them for a Shorty Award. Now, what a Shorty Award is it's basically an award ceremony that honours the best utilisation of social media, particularly Twitter, hence the name Shorty Awards. The Falletonians have been a huge factor in getting the Blue Mondays and the Follow Fridays going on Twitter. If maybe they didn't start it themselves, they made a huge effort in promoting them on their podcast, and they really helped it take off. And because of that, a lot of Blues from all over the world have become connected on Twitter now. So I think the Falletonians definitely deserve a nomination just for that alone. So if you want to nominate them, the link will be in the description to the Shorty Awards website. There's a little tweet box that you have to fill in. Nominate at Falletonians for a Shorty Award in #soccer, and then just give a reason why. Again, all the links you'll need for this are all in the post on Club Everton, the website. It's in the, in fact, it still should be by now while the headline acts. So you can load up the site, the little ticker box at the top with the headlines on, the Falletonians one should be there. So just click on that, and all the links you want will be in there. Alright, so what are we going to do in the daily today then? We're going to have a look at the news. We're going to have a look at the transfer gossip. We've still got a couple of days left of silly season. Article of interest. Wimbledon fan MP says that Milton Keynes should drop the Dons. Okay, so that's what's coming up. Let's get down to it, and we'll start, as ever, with the news. Okay, so our first piece of news is that apparently David Moyes is weighing up a shock move for Wolves striker Kevin Doyle before the window shuts. Doyle is obviously not the first choice striker at Wolves anymore, seeing as Stephen Fletcher's been having a brilliant season, and he started only one of the last 6 league matches, Doyle. He's also scored 2 goals this term. He's been linked with a move away in January. Apparently we were chasing him last season, but Mick McCarthy insisted that the 28-year-old wasn't for sale. And obviously David Moyes is desperate to bring the striker in before the window closes, so this could be a goer. Again, it depends on how long it's going to take for this Billy Letternoff deal to go through. The other news, this isn't really Everton related, but I suppose it counts. The PFA are going to be sending posters out to all 92 Premier League and Football League clubs as an awareness campaign for homophobia in the game of football. The union's been working with leading figures in the game the past few months to tackle the issue, and they'll send out a poster to try and create a so what culture around homosexuality in football. and reassure gay footballers that he will have support from his club, his teammates and the wider public if he does choose to come out. The poster has the official backing of the FA, the Premier League, the Football League, the League Managers Association and the Kick It Out campaign. There is a bit of a touchy subject still, homosexuality in football. I mean, we've not seen anyone in the English game at least come out the closet, so to speak, since Justin Fashanu in the 90s. So it might be what, I mean, obviously it's not as apparent to us, but it could be a hidden thing. There's still homophobia that is still rampant in the league, so hopefully a campaign like this would help to curb that. At the end of the day, a player is a player regardless of his age, his sex, well, obviously his sex is probably going to be important there, his race, his sexual preference, none of that shit matters. As long as he can play football, I mean, that should be the most important thing. So that's the reasoning behind this campaign, and it's definitely something that gets my support, excuse me. Anyway, the final piece of news is having a look at who might be available on Bosmans, and this will be of good importance to us because that's probably the market we're going to be operating in. This is going to be a bit of a long one, so there are many forgotten stars and underrated youngsters who are actively seeking a new team for next season, and they're allowed to discuss the terms 6 months before the end of their current deal. So here's a list of the best bargains of the season's Bosman list. By the way, this is from the Transfer Tavern website. Definitely recommend you go and check that out because it is a decent site powered by the Football Fancast. Goalkeeper wise, there isn't much on offer. Yoshi Askelainen at Bolton and Steve Harper at Newcastle, both experienced goalies who could be available, but both will probably renew their contracts in the coming months, with the former seemingly waiting to find out if Bolton stay in the Premier League. The considerable abilities of Craig Gordon and Chris Kirkland are also on offer, but it would be a big risk on either player, with both suffering numerous injury problems in the past couple of years. Tim Howard too is nearing the end of his contract, but it's almost certain that he'll re-sign before the end of the season. The two who stand out here are Hilario Gomez and Thomas Kuszczak. Gomez has struggled to get near the Tottenham team in the league this season, and he'll be wanting first team football. Spurs have able backup in the form of Carlo Cudicini, who's also out of contract in the summer. I imagine they'll let Gomez go and keep Cudicini as backup. Gomez has struggled at times in the Premier League though, and I envisage him moving abroad rather than staying in England. Kuszczak, on the other hand, could be a good signing for any mid-table Premier League side. He's a solid goalkeeper. He's never had a decent chance at United. He's still relatively young for a goalkeeper at 29. Excuse me. I expect Kuszczak to stay in England, possibly moving to one of the next season's promoted clubs. As far as defenders go, there's even less on offer. Zach Knight and Bolton would generate interest at a few clubs, but like Jääskeläinen, I'm sure he's just waiting to see what happens to Bolton before committing himself to the club. Jonathan Woodgate and Ledley King have proved that they're still able to hobble through 25 games this season, and although Woodgate has lost more than a yard of pace, both are still accomplished defenders. While Tony Pulis will probably renew Woodgate's contract at Stoke, Harry Redknapp at Spurs might be thinking time's running out for King, especially with Spurs likely to be in the Champions League next season. They may look to sign someone else. King would represent a risk, but I'm sure there are already some inquiries for him. The standout defenders, in my opinion, are still Van Diston, who may get a new deal at Everton, but at 34 would still represent a good signing for most Premier League sides. The other good opportunity is Minor Figueroa at Wigan. The Honduran international has always been a dependable defender, either a centre-back or left-back. Be looking at a new Premier League club should Wigan be relegated. In midfield, there are a few good players who will be available. All of the relegation-threatened clubs have several players in this situation, with most players probably waiting to find out if their team will be in the Premier League next season. These include Junior Hoylett, Blackburn, Akos Buzkai, GPR, and Jordi Gomez at Wigan stand out from the bunch in terms of relegation candidates. There's also Mohamed Diame at Wigan, who said in the past he dislikes living in Wigan and may look to move regardless of whether they get relegated. Diame is a box-to-box midfielder who has 2 very good feet, and I expect a lot of interest in him if he decides to leave Wigan. As Owen Hargreaves' move across Manchester has failed miserably, I don't know if he really expected to break into the first team of City. He'll probably look to transfer under the Bosman rule at the end of the season and will interest a few teams. Ryan Giggs is also on the list, but will not be leaving Man United. The only question is whether the 38-year-old will announce a surprise retirement at the end of the season. I think he still has something to offer. I expect him to sign a new one-year deal in June. I doubt that many clubs will be scrambling for Emil Heskey's signature at the end of the season, but there are some good players available as far as strikers are concerned. Didier Drogba stands out straight away, but I expect him to move to China if he doesn't get his desired 2-year contract extension at Chelsea. Drogba's teammate Solomon Kalou, on the other hand, may choose to move to another Premier League team, with Arsene Wenger a long-term admirer. Fulham's Andy Johnson seems likely to move either in the next week or on a free transfer in June after falling out of favour with Martin Jol. Johnson is an experienced goal scorer. I think he'll generate some interest from teams in the bottom half of the league. I doubt that Man United will offer Michael Owen another year on his contract, and with the former England international previously saying he will not drop down the league, he might struggle to find an offer from anyone except the newly promoted next season. The best striker available in my opinion is Hugo Rodallega at Wigan. Rodallega isn't prolific, but he's a very talented footballer who could possibly be tempted by a move whether Wigan are relegated or not. Of course, a lot of these players could move before the end of the January transfer window, and a lot of them will sign new contracts before the end of the season. As things stand currently though, these my pick of the bunch in my opinion. And that was written by author unknown on the football transfer tavern. Bloody hell. Right, well, anyway, that's the news. So we'll move on to the transfer gossip as ever. The source and the story. The Observer, bloody hell, straight off to a mistake. The Observer reports that Liverpool's bid to swap £35 million record signing Andy Carroll for Argentine striker Carlos Tevez has been turned down by Man City. Talkshite reports that Tevez's advisor Kai Jobashian said there's no possibility that the 27-year-old will join Championship club West Ham on loan from Man City. Sunday Mirror says, however, Carroll could still be involved in the swap deal for Newcastle forward Demba Ba. The People say that the Red Shite are preparing a double swoop on the Bundesliga with moves for Werder Bremen star Marco Marin, 22, and Borussia Dortmund striker Lucas Barrios, 27. Metro says the FA Cup hero, Dirk Kuyt, has been told he will not be allowed to leave Anfield during the January transfer window, after the Italian sides Fiorentina and Roma expressed an interest in signing him. Inside Football reports that Real Madrid are asking Chelsea to part company with Brazilian defender David Luiz in exchange for centre-back Pepe. Express and Star reports that Wolves are considering making loan moves for Newcastle forwards Leon Best and Peter Lovenkrantz. Cuntrag reports that Tottenham manager Harry Redknapp says he does not expect to sign anyone before the transfer window shuts. Metro reports that, however, Wolfsburg striker Mario Mandzukic has emerged as a late transfer target for Spurs as Redknapp looks to add more firepower to his squad. The Philadelphia Inquirer, which is an American newspaper, says Philadelphia Union's Congo-born forward Danny Mwanga is on a 10-day trial with Aston Villa. Sunday Mirror reports that Everton defender John Heitinger is wanted by Spanish side Real Mallorca. Sky Sports reports that QPR boss Mark Hughes is keen on taking Danny Murphy from his old club Fulham. Other gossip, the Sunday Times reports that Jose Mourinho has decided to leave Real Madrid at the end of the season for a return to the Premier League. The Sunday Mirror also reports that Mourinho is Man City's #1 choice to replace Roberto Mancini, who's under pressure to land the title or face the boot. The People say that Newcastle Blackburn manager Steve Keane survived a plot to sack him by senior staff within the club. The Racist on Sunday reports that the Professional Footballers Association will send a poster out to all 92 league clubs and football league clubs to raise awareness of homophobia in the game. We've covered that already. And finally, and there's only one, that's from the Metro. Equatorial Guinea midfielder Nassise Ekanga has become a YouTube hit after a comical attempt to persuade the referee he was injured during their 2-1 win over Senegal. Strangely enough though, they don't provide the video. I'll have to have a look for that later on. Alright, well that's the transfer gossip. So we'll finish off with our article of interest, which again is from the BBC. And this one also has no credited author. A South London MP has urged her fellow MPs to back a campaign for Milton Keynes Dons Football Club to drop the word dogs from its name. The team was adopted after the original Dons Wimbledon Football Club relocated to Milton Keynes in 2003. Siobhan McDonough from MP for Mitcham and Mud said it was a symbol of how the club's identity was stolen. She used the case as an example in a 30-minute parliamentary debate about football governance. She said, "I want ministers to remember the case of Wimbledon when they look at how football should be governed. It shouldn't be possible for clubs to just up sticks and leave the communities they're supported by." Wimbledon relocated to Milton Keynes in 2003 following years of wrangling over whether they should find a suitable new home in South London. The controversial decision angered Wimbledon supporters and other football fans. Wimbledon was dropped from the club's name in 2004 and it became the Milton Keynes Dons. The League One club returned replica trophies of Wimbledon FC's honours to the London Borough of Merton in 2007. AFC Wimbledon, formed by supporters, has risen through the league since 2002 and the club was promoted to League Two last season. In the House of Commons debate, Sports Minister Hugh Robertson paid tribute to AFC Wimbledon. He said, "It's an example of what can be achieved through the power and determination of supporters. Mrs McDonough wants the government to ensure that any changes to the rules about how clubs should be run, currently being considered by the football authorities, and guarantee that clubs cannot ignore the communities which support them." We can do with that. She said she would back calls from organisations supporters direct for communities to be represented formally in the running of clubs as part of licence conditions. Miss McDonough, an AFC Wimbledon supporter, wants MPs to support the Wimbledon Guardian's Drop the Dons campaign, which states that this would remove much of the stigma attached with that club. She said that now AFC Wimbledon have reached the Football League, it was time for the club to take action to reclaim its identity. Milton Keynes Dons declined to comment on the situation, but Dons fan and former Fizz magazine editor Franco Vol said he was bemused by the subject being brought up again. "It's a non-issue. As far as Milton Keynes Dons supporters are concerned, we're not going to change our name," he said. The FA Commission that allows the move to take place recommended that we keep the identity of the old Wimbledon, and club owner Pete Winkleman did that when he called us Milton Keynes Dons. The Dons is our identity, it's where we came from, and it's wrong to just take the club and decide that you don't want to be involved with what's happened in the past. Very controversial comments there from the AFC Wimbledon fan. But you know what, we'll go a bit further. A condensed history of AFC Wimbledon. In fact, I can't go further because that's a video. Right, so can't go any further because the bit was a video. I thought it was going to be an article, it's not, so we're going to end it there. But we want to hear your opinions on any of the stuff that we've covered in today's daily. You can get in touch with us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Google+. Links to all those are in the descriptions. Join Club Everton forum at clubeverton.co.uk/forum to get involved in the football banter and a hell of a lot more. For example, we were all trying to decipher what our Blues names would be yesterday. What else? Yes, we're also on iTunes. The dailies are now going on iTunes as well, so the iTunes feed gets updated every day with these dailies. So we definitely recommend you go and check them out on there. And check out previous episodes of Club Everton Radio that are on there as well. Also, if you have any feedback or suggestions, or you want musical acts featured on the podcast or the dailies, send us an email to podcast@clubeverton.co.uk and we'll get back to you. Okay, so I think that's about it. So we'll just finish off by letting you know that the dailies are brought to you by Hans Tours, the official travel partner of clubeverton.co.uk. For more information, visit hanstours.co.uk or give Han a ring on 077 521 21395. Alright, well that's it for today's daily. Thank you very much for listening and we'll see you again tomorrow.